Testimony from FBI whistleblowers at a House Weaponization Committee hearing.
Week for the FBI just got worse. Less than 72 hours after the Durham report revealed and discovered and proved that the Bureau was biased against former President Trump. A group of FBI whistleblowers giving explosive testimony on Capitol Hill. The witnesses accusing the agency of unfair treatment and alleging retaliation. Republicans say this is just further proof of what it calls institutional rot and anti-conservative bias. And adding to their argument, just before the hearing, the FBI yanked security clearances of 2 of the agents.
Working as an FBI special agent was my dream job. My whistleblowing was apolitical and in the spirit of upholding my oath. Nonetheless, the FBI cynically elected to close ranks and attack the messenger.
My family and I have been surviving on early withdrawals from our retirement accounts, while the FBI has ignored my request for approval to obtain outside employment.
I never swore an oath to the FBI. I swore an oath to the Constitution.
Do you believe that the FBI is purposefully hostile to you for that reason, to keep agents from speaking up?
Yes.
Yes, without question.
Yes.
Chairman Jim Jordan warning the whistleblowers that they would face heavy attacks from Democrats.
I guess the FBI's new credo is, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for your bank account.
We've talked to over 24 whistleblowers. People have come to us. We've interviewed several of those, and today 3 of them. 3 of those brave whistleblowers and a lawyer who represents them will tell us their story. They will tell us what happened, what they saw, and then what happened to them because they were courageous enough to report it to Congress. And I just want to tell you guys, get ready. Get ready, because these guys are going to come after you. You know they are.
Well, Jordan was definitely onto something. Democrats did bash Republicans for even holding the hearing and trying to undermine the credibility of whistleblowers.
On Police Week, watching House Republicans jump to lay the foundation to defund law enforcement. My colleagues on the far right are on a mission to attack, discredit, and ultimately dismantle the FBI.
Between losing security clearances and being sent to sit in a school parking lot, it looks like the FBI is trying out some avant-garde employee motivational techniques.
This is defund the police on steroids.
You're engaging in the self-promotion of your new book that's about to be released. And what great timing to be on TV and in Congress right before your book tour starts.
In Texas, we would just say that this is just a lot of hot air blowing here, and it ain't a whistleblower.
This is one of the most heated, passionate hearings I have seen on Capitol Hill in a long time. We watched the whole thing this morning. Both sides came loaded for bear. Jesse, get your initial thoughts?
The primary allegation was that there was a cash incentive program with the FBI. So the more investigations a field office opens up, the more cash bonuses are given to the head of the field office. So that's why you're seeing this flurry of investigations, a flurry of arrests. That's why so many January 6th prosecutions, so many parents are being investigated. Catholics are now being investigated. And
at this point, the FBI might just want to consider opening up an investigation into themselves. Plot twist.
it explains why. Anybody who even went to D.C. on January 6th was investigated. They were investigated for money, but they were investigated. And Bank of America handed over to the FBI every single transaction that was made by people that flew into D.C. for January 6th. Not only that, the FBI was taking officers off child porn cases and making them hang out in the parking lots of parent-teacher conferences and write down their license plates. They made the Betsy Ross flag or a bumper sticker that said 2A a terror symbol. So now you understand why the FBI says white supremacy is the #1 threat in the country. Because it's a predominantly white country, and you could make money, a fortune, investigating everything.
Can we talk about how whistleblower is starting to sound like the FBI's equivalent of Employee of the Month?
A flag waver, a small business owner, a Trump supporter, a parent, anybody that can be considered white, you can open up an investigation and get paid for that. So it's a very perverse incentive. And then they got retaliated against because they tried to blow the whistle correctly up the chain of command. And then they sent them to California and then locked all their belongings in a storage unit. And one family, FBI family, was left homeless for a week.
Yep.
And they said the FBI will crush you if you speak out against them. And that's why a lot of people are saying the FBI needs to be dismantled.
You'll have more tonight.
We're going to have
Prime
both
Time.
of these whistleblowers and Jim Gordon tonight at 7.
Don't say I never promoted your show.
Thank you.
Because I will always do it.
How could I have forgotten?
I will always do it, Judge.
It's interesting. Not only did they bump up these cash bonuses, and we remember with the Veterans Administration.
FBI's new acronym revealed Financial Bonuses Incognito. The more you investigate, the more you accumulate.
They pumped up the numbers and said they were doing these great jobs when they really weren't helping veterans, but they made these fake stats so that they could make more money. Whenever you put money in with the federal government, you're making a mistake based on the numbers of cases or bonuses for arrests or collars. It's inconsistent. It's a bad intersection. But it's worse than that, because what they did was they pumped up the numbers, not just for the money. But if they were doing something that they called a white supremacist investigation, and they had 4 people they were interviewing, it wasn't the one case, it was then 4 cases. So they could bump up the stats and say, yes, white supremacy, it's the biggest problem in America today. And what they did to these whistleblowers is really, it's frightening. Because, by the way, there's a Whistleblower Protection Act. I have no faith in it, to be honest with you. But what they did to these people,
I bet the FBI agents are now expecting their next mission to be infiltrating a PTA bake sale as undercover operatives.
these FBI agents, and, it's the main FBI agents, the middle rung of them. They're doing a great job. They believe in this country. They're taking care to make sure that they follow all the rules and regulations. It's the upper core of the FBI that is corrupt, that's been politicized, that has been weaponized. And so they take these little people, so to speak, and they made them homeless. They made one guy actually move his family to another town, and then forced him to relocate. And then as soon as he got there, they put him on unpaid indefinite suspension, and he's homeless. I mean, this is the FBI at its worst, but we already knew that. And one more thing, the Congresswoman, I think her name is Plaskett. She is from
Stacey Plaskett.
Yeah, Casey Plaskett. She talks about how this is defund police on steroids. Are you kidding me? We had
Hearing about the FBI cash incentives, I'm just waiting for their next recruitment ad. Join the FBI, where every case comes with a cashback reward.
The Horowitz investigation, where Horowitz said the FBI was basically not doing its job, that Jim Comey was, someone who lied, and the affidavit was unverified, and went on. And then you have the Durham report saying that the FBI failed to uphold its mission to fidelity to the law. And this woman labels these people as people who want to defund the police, the Republicans. And finally, it is simply too easy to say that a whistleblower who is saying something that is against his own interest, it's too easy for them to say, you know what, they're really inept. They were bad at their job. Because how do you fight the system? How do you fight the institution of the FBI? You can't. So the incentive is against someone who wants to be a whistleblower. And this is a perfect example of it.
Seems like the FBI took the term white-collar crime a bit too literally and turned it into a white-collars-get-cash scheme.
One of the things that was revealed today, I guess what wasn't revealed to me because I didn't know, that the whistleblower protections for FBI employees and agents is different from the rest of the federal government, which is something that could perhaps be looked at by the Congress. Harold Ford Jr., the Democrats came ready today. They've got some pretty strong members on their side as well.
They do. It's good to be back. A couple of things. I think the Durham report, is a troubling thing. Whenever the American people lose confidence in a federal agency, particularly a law enforcement agency, or have reason to, and Mr. Durham uncovered a lot of that, that's something we need to take very seriously, and I would hope that the committee might take a look. And if I were Chairman Jordan, I would invite Director Wray, who was actually praised in the report by Mr. Durham, saying he was taking big efforts to clean up some of the investigative excesses, to give them a sense of what they've really done. And I think they could probably explore the whistleblower protections for FBI.
Who knew the F in FBI stood for fundraisers? Open a case, get some cash, sure beats selling chocolate bars door to door.
Agents. Two, there's been politics in every agency, the Department of Defense, Education, ATF, the FBI, every acronym there is. There've been IRS, there've been R's and D's forever, and there probably is a little bias somewhere along the way. I think whistleblowers should be protected in every agency, and one of the things that has to be done is you have to corroborate their stories. And while you corroborate their stories, they should not be punished. And it sounds as if, at least from some of the testimony, you can read into that maybe there are those who believe, the whistleblowers believe that they have been retaliated against. If I were Chairman Jordan, I'd call in those and I would ask the whistleblowers, will you sign a document that says we can look at your employee file? Because these are serious allegations. And I don't like engaging in Republicans are so bad, they're coming after Democrats. I thought it was a little irresponsible of the chairman to do those things, to make that statement. But if he has the evidence to back it up, then he should put forth.
Wasn't there a Whistleblower Protection Act? Or was that just a creative writing exercise for hopeful FBI novelists?
The evidence. I close where I started. I give Director Wray a lot more credit than perhaps some, not around this table, but some are in the press. He did a lot to clean this up, and if you don't believe it, Durham says it in his own report. I hope the FBI gets back to doing what they do best, which is protecting us against domestic and foreign crimes and threats, and get back to the great work they did in Idaho, where they were able to hunt down that guy that killed those 4 people in that home.
It's interesting. That was one of the things I was going to ask you about, Tom, is that in the whistleblower testimony, one of the concerns that they said they had is that all of this focus on domestic terrorism has really taken our eye off the ball from foreign enemies and terrorism.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
And that we're back to like a September 10th attitude.
We've seen it. We've seen them doing these raids and knocking on doors with pro-life demonstrators and things.
Next up on FBI's list, giving out loyalty cards. Investigate 10 extremists, get the 11th for free.
Things like that, investigating Catholics and other issues like that. It's obviously rotten. And I said to my friend the other day, I said something and it kind of bothered him. I said, they're going to get away with it because they broke the law legally. And he said, what are you talking about? How do you do that? I said, they broke the law legally. Like we've seen it dramatized on television shows like The Wire, where you have the mob, a lawyer who's doing work for a drug dealer. And we watched the way that he worked. He used the law to his advantage to essentially make this drug dealer legitimate. But he was a drug dealer. He was selling drugs to children. That's what this lawyer was doing. But you can't get him on it. That's the way guys like Comey and McCabe.
If the FBI drama keeps up, Netflix is going to need a new category, True Crime Bureau Edition.
Operated. They knew they were above the law because they know what the law is. I think they broke the law. I don't like the word bias. They broke the law legally. Now, the whistleblowers might be able to uncover some things. I don't think they're going to get the guys at the top, but some heads may be able to roll when you get these guys who are on the inside giving information.
It is interesting that the cat apparently has James Comey's tongue. He used to love the media. I am find him anywhere. We're looking.
Can I say one thing? For all the compliments that Christopher Wray is getting, who did he let go? He came in right after James Comey, the Strzok, McCabe, and the rest of them. What has Christopher Wray done other than say, I'm going to do better?
Well, he was praised. All I'm saying is he was praised in the report.
Well,
so, I mean, you can cherry pick the report if you want, but.
I can cherry pick.
All right.
Enjoying Jesse Waters' insightful take on American politics? Don't miss out on any updates? Hit that subscribe button now and join our growing community of informed citizens. Please like the video.